Hello guys, what's up? It's Arvendir and this is my first video in English that I make. So please don't judge me about my pronunciation or some wrong words that I may use because my English is very rusty, so please be patient. So some guys saw me in streaming using my stamina Templar and they were curious about what I was using and why I was using a Khajiit. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the race. The Khajiit is not the best in slot race for the stamina Templar, but I'm sure you know that. The best in slot is the Red Guard because, as you can see, thanks to his passives, you are not going to have any problem with your stamina. In fact, the less heavy attacks you do with your character, more jabs you can use during your rotation, and this is very important for your DPS. So I made a Khajiit Templar stamina because I was curious to try the race ability Carnage that grants you 8% weapon critical chance with any damage you deal. I have to say the passive works, and thanks to this passive I can use one sword and one dagger instead of two daggers. So if you are using a Red Guard or any other race, it's better to use two daggers, but if you are using if you want to use or if you are using a Khajiit, I think you can use a sword and a dagger. I tried the axe, but I prefer the sword, really. It depends by your DPS. If your DPS is very high, it's better to use a sword because its passive is going to grant you more damage. If your DPS is in the middle, maybe an axe could be better. About the skills, I use on my dual wields bar, ramming trap, power of the light, raining slashes, biting jabs, and expert hunter for the passive. As ultimate I use flawless Dawnbreaker. On the bow bar I use resolving vigor, endless hail, poison injection, razor caltrops, restoring focus, and the ballista. What about the other skills you may need? So you may use blazing spear instead of restoring focus on the off bar because even if it deals magic damage, with this skill you may proc the burning light passive ability. With this passive you have the 25% chance every 0.5 seconds to deal physical or magic damage. This is very much. So I suggest you to try this rotation. I don't personally use that. I use that occasionally, but not every time. It may bring some problem to the power of the light uptime. Regarding Dawn's Wrath skill tree, I just unlocked power of the light and the last three passives from the tree. Regarding restoring light skill tree, repentance is for sure very useful in those situations where there are a lot of enemies, like I don't know, Black Rose Prison or maybe trash pools in every trial. It's very useful. I normally use restoring focus because it is very good after the change they made, because it gives you stamina every 1 second. Also it gives you a lot of resistance, and this is very good when you have to play in those trials where you have to dodge or break free a lot, or there are a lot of AoE damage in general. I only unlocked the last passive here. Of course, In the dual wield tree you have to unlock every passive ability and Deadly Clock. You may use Deadly Clock instead of Expert Hunter in the main bar in those trials where you have a lot of AoE damage. In the bow tree I have of course the ultimate and the sail, poison injection and all the passives. You have to unlock every passive of medium armor, and you have to unlock the first 4 passives from the Fighters Guild, and I recommend you to unlock this skill and morph it in Silver Leash, because it works like a chain, and it may be useful in those groups where the tanks are not very experienced during the fight. I am thinking about the second boss of Maul Lorcash, for example. I'm using Expert Hunter in my main bar because thanks for this passive my weapon damage is increased. In the Mage's Guild skill tree, I'm working on that. You should unlock Meteor because it is very useful in those situations where you have to do a lot of AoE damage. So in those situations Ballista is not very good and Meteor is what you are looking for. Of course you have to unlock every undaunted passives, and I recommend you to unlock the Purge skill from the Support Alliance War tree. It is very useful, for example, in the first boss of Hollow Fabrications. I try very useful barrier too, because for example at the 4th boss of Hollow Fabrication the group may need this shield, and if your group is with not much experience, it may be of great help for your trial group. The last passive ability I suggest to you, it's from Alchemy and it's medicinal use. About the setups I use of course 5 armor item from Relican and 5 items of Advancing Yokeda. I use 2 infused rings and 1 bloodthirsty necklace. On the sword I use the Nirnred trait with disease damage. On the dagger I use infused trait with weapon damage enchantment, and on the bow I use the Maelstrom bow with poison damage enchantment. I suggest you to farm another Maelstrom bow infused with the undead and Daedra damage on that, because it will be good for Ethereal Archive and for Maul Lorcash, the last boss. As monster set I use Belidret, Krag or Stonefist. Okay, as you can see I'm using 6 medium armor and 1 heavy armor. The race you use influences also the food you are gonna need. In fact, you can use this food that grants you maximum health and maximum stamina, or this food that grants you less maximum stamina, less maximum health, but a little bit of stamina recovery that you may find very good for your stamina management. If you're playing a red guard, you are not going to need this food, but if the group is not very good with resources, shards and orbs, you might need this as red guard as well. So about the rotation, if you can, use your circle before the fight, use your food, use your potion, and use Endless Sail, Caltrops together, light attack, poison injection, light attack, ulti, light attack, power the light attack, ramming trap, light attack, render slashes, light attack, jabs, light attack, jabs, light attack, power the light, swap, light attack, Endless Sail, light attack, caltrops, light attack, poison injection, light attack, circle. Okay? If you can, use a third jab after the second power of the light. So the main bar is light attack, power of the light, light attack, ramming trap, light attack, rending slash, light attack, jabs, light attack, jabs, light attack, power of the light, light attack, jabs, swap, and you do the off bar as I showed you. So the full rotation should be like this. When you are under 40% of stamina, begin to do a couple of heavy attacks in a main bar. Take care about the power of the light uptime and the endless sail at time, okay? But with an healer, with a good healer, you should not have problem with stamina. Okay guys, that's all for my stamina Templar build for the Murkmire DLC. I hope it will be of use for you, and see you on the next video.
My horn? Yours. My horn.
Less than before.
Was the
Like 5.